Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, shout out to the Who That Nation, man. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. And like I've been saying for some time now, welcome. You're now rocking with Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's poppin'? Shout out to the fam. Appreciate it. All right. Shout out to you and the rest of the family members in the building. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We're up in this one on a Saturday afternoon. I hope you guys are having a fantastic time. Much love to the fam. Appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Hope y'all having a good Saturday, man. It's a very beautiful day outside. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Just want to talk Saints at you for a few minutes before I get on and finish enjoying my day. But shout out to the fam, man. In this one, it's called Saints Need to Get on Track versus the Colts in the game. And we're going to see how that happens coming up tomorrow. So shout out to everybody. OG, how you doing, sir? K, Young City Ninth Ward, Trav 504. Much love to all y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Snake Bite as well. Big ups to you, K. Much love to all the fam up in this elite. Stacy, how you doing? Appreciate you. All right, Bobby, how you doing, fam? Appreciate you. Brother Clint, much love. All the fam, appreciate y'all for being in this one. Let's jump right into it, man. I got a few things I'm going to go over with you guys as well. But I want to just make you aware of that we have some new merch that's coming out. We also have some new merch that'll be dropping next around another couple of weeks or probably 7 days from now. We got some new merch that'll come out. I think a lot of people will be kind of excited about that. It's the new No Excuses gear, the collection. It's a limited collection that's out. It's for ladies and the fellas, man. It comes in big sizes for the guys that like it big, and nice petite sizes for the ladies. However you like it, we've got it for you. And it's a limited edition gear. The shirt, this is a collection. It won't be out for very long, but you can also get it right now. You can get 10% off with the product code that's attached to it. So you can just basically go there. The links is in the bottom of the chat. Remember, the merch helps out our stream. No excuses, man. That is the mantra, man. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate you being in the stream. Let's jump right into it, man. This is the Saints' final injury report prior to the Week 8 matchup against the Colts. And you see, we got a few people that's banged up on this list, man. As you take a look, James Hurst is listed as out. You got Jawan Johnson. Finally, we'll get him back after a month worth of games. JT Gray still banged up. He's questionable. Landon Young, fully practiced. Ryan Ramczyk, fully practiced. Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus May, Taysom Hill, Alante Taylor, Max Garcia, Jimmy Graham, and Andrews Pete, all listed as questionable for this game. So Week 8, you're getting close to the center of the season. A lot of people banged up. The Colts are not as long. Their list not as long, but they do have a couple of guys out. Juju Brents, the cornerback, Kalen Granson, the tight end, is also out of the matchup. And then questionable, Eric Johnson the second, Zach Moss, the fantastic running back. He's questionable. We think he plays along with Jonathan Taylor. Tony Brown is questionable. Ryan Kelly and DeFrost Buckner, who just dealing with rest. So we'll see those guys as well. So just to let you know, family, we did do a preview of this game. If you want to check out the preview, it's on the channel, man. We had a fantastic guest. Lawrence Owen came in from the Believe in Colts and Colts Law podcasts and dropped some good game. Real cool dude, man. Appreciate him stopping by, dropping some real good game about the Colts. If you don't know nothing about the Colts, you check out the Colts, Saints Colts preview that we did earlier in the week on this channel, man, and it'll get you together and ready for this Saints matchup against the Colts. So anyway, that's a part of it. Now let's move on, family. We'll get to the next article right here. And this one's shout out to John Sigler at the Saints Wire. He did a really good article as we are approaching the NFL trade deadline. It's a lot of rumors circulating. I heard what Keyshawn Johnson said about Michael Thomas, and that I think he mentioned the Cowboys need to go after him and all this kind of old stuff. And we won't make that move. So he need to rest and chill on that. Very interesting that he would kind of throw Mike out there, but he knows 1 year left on Mike Thomas's contract. And when we dealing with situations with our wide receivers, we want to try to keep these guys together best we can. But anyway, this article he did a little whiles ago, it's called 4 Players the Saints could move by the NFL trade deadline. So they could possibly move these guys. And this is what he made mention of. So it says, October the 31st, that's when it's coming down. The only players that could trade and say more than $2 million right now would be Cam, who just signed an extension this summer. James Hurst, who's a starter at left tackle, whose ankle injury prohibits any trade anyway. So trading players immediately, salary cap relief is off the table. Not to say the Saints couldn't have any motivations in being sellers at the deadline. They could trade veteran players in hopes of opening the snaps for inexperienced teammates or thinning out their pending free agents for 2024. So here's the 4 guys that they make mention of that could possibly be trade candidates. I would, it's just something, food for thought. Marcus May is on the top of his list. He says the Saints should trade him. Why the Saints should trade him? Safety Jordan Howden filled in very well for May. He did during the suspension. He earned more reps than he can get as opposed to being a DB dime back. Getting more looks for Howden would be good for long-term development as a starter to take over other defenders aged out in the secondary. May also has a salary cap hit north of almost $10 million next season, and a team will need to make a decision on his contract one way or the other. Trading him now saves money and brings some value back as opposed to releasing him and getting nothing in the spring. So yeah, Marcus May, since he's been here, has been kind of a mixed bag for us. Now, he had a few positive plays this year. Remember, he missed six games last year. He was suspended for several games this year. So, I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag. He's decent, not nothing outstanding. Like if he left a couple years from now, like, man, remember how Marcus May used to tear up everything? No, we ain't getting none of that. But he is right about Jordan Howden. Jordan Howden is the future of the safety position. You know that you got guys like Tyrann Mathieu on the back end of their career. You got guys like Jordan Howden, and I'm pretty sure the Saints will ultimately draft another safety when it comes down to it, that ultimately come in maybe next season perhaps and kind of add more youth to that experience. And a lot of our veteran guys that we have that's currently on the contract, like Alani Johnson Jr. or a guy like Jonathan Abrams, these guys on a 1-year prove-it deal. So, so he's definitely got something interesting like that. Now, will they trade him? I probably not. So the Saints should not trade him. He gives why they shouldn't, why they shouldn't. No team has enough defensive backs, and fewer teams have experienced pros like they can rely on with May. Plus, it's unlikely they would get any valuable trade assets back. The Titans just traded Kevin Bayard to the Eagles for Terrell Edmonds, and the 2 late round picks, and Bayard is a significantly better player. Saints could probably get a 6th-round pick for me at best if they're comfortable managing his contract in another way. Next season, they should just hold on to him. All right, the next player, Malcolm Roach. While the Saints should trade him, Roach may be the team's most dependable, notable pending free agent. Well, he may be dependable, but I would say he's been one of their best key reserves, like veteran reserve. He's done a really good job. I like how Brian Bursey has done coming up off the bench. But I really love how Malcolm Roach. We talk about Carl Granderson, but Malcolm Roach has been here for a couple of years now, more than what is it, 3 years now? I think Roach been here. Y'all remind me in the chat. I know it's like 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years that Roach has been here, and he's really been really awesome in the reserve capacity for the Saints. I would definitely not like to lose him or allow him to go anywhere. So it's tough to imagine big paydays are in store for guys like Andrews Pete and Zach Bond. He's developed really well in the rotation as a D tackle and currently leads the position in tackles with 2 yards on the line of scrimmage, 14. And he says the position in 2 yards of the line of scrimmage, 14. His impact against the run and pass would help many units around the league. Maybe another team would be willing to spend mid-round picks so they can get out in front of the free agent frenzy. Now, Roach is out playing his former teammate, Shai Tuttle, who signed a 3-year deal worth almost $20 million with the Panthers back in March. So why the Saints should not trade him, this would be hustling backwards. The Saints have spent a lot of time coaching Roach up, and right now he's a productive player at this position they're kind of thin at, and he and Brian Bresee are making splash plays than veteran teammates, right now, and Roach wouldn't shake up the group it'll shake up not in a positive way, but Brian Bresee has been limited in passing downs in recent weeks due to his struggles anchoring a run defense, and it's clear the Saints have a vision for how this group should work together. It's tough to believe another team can make another shakeup worthwhile. I would definitely hold on to Malcolm Roach. I would definitely hold on to him. I would not trade Malcolm Roach right now. Arme, he's right. You wouldn't get much value in none of these guys. Zach Bond, on the other hand, hadn't been a good scheme fit for the Saints, and as excel pass rusher in college, but their plan from his first day in the building was to drop him back into coverage and guard tight ends or running back sliding out of the backfield. That hasn't worked well enough to continue, especially if another team comes calling with a better vision for his talents. Bond will be a free agent in a few months away, so it'll be better for the Saints to trade him now and get something rather than nothing. Now, I agree with him on this one. Zach Bond is not really – he did some positive things this year, but I'm not really caring about Zach Bond like that. We had other players here, and Zach Bond kind of did his thing toward the back end. And if the Saints – they're stubborn enough to make it, because a lot of the moves that the Saints make with re-signing some of these guys don't make no sense. If Dennis Allen's still sitting on top of the team, I can see him extending Zach Bond on another contract and keeping a more talented player like, your boy, what's his name, Jalen Smith, keeping him on the practice squad like he need practice when he outperformed Zach Bond in the preseason. See, that type of stuff that don't make any sense, and only that makes sense in his raccoon face or possum eyes. They don't make sense to us that Smith is sitting on the practice squad, Bond is in the actual playing time, and it's because of they're looking at that like, Zach Bond. I don't know what Dennis Allen thinking with that, man. It's just another one of these crazy thought processes that only he can have. But yeah, I was saying trade Zach Bond already. All right. And I like Zach Bond. I just don't think that he fits with what they're doing. He has some positive plays this year, but we can find more dependable, more players or better players with higher upsides that can come in and contribute to the Saints defense besides Zach Bond. It gets to the point like it had the thing happen with Traquan Smith, when Traquan Smith didn't do anything to outperform any of these other guys. And other guys were outperforming them, but yet they put the other guys on the practice squad and kept this guy on the team. And then when it finally got to the point where they had to do something with him, they were forced to release him as opposed to give these other guys an opportunity to shine. And that's a sign of no vision, absolutely no vision, and knowing when to get rid of guys versus when to hold on to guys, knowing when you got to cut bait and run. They don't have that vision. Well, Dennis Allen I know that for certain. Saints should not trade him. Is it worth trading your top special teams player and third linebacker for a 6 or 7 round pick? Probably not, especially when the salary cap impact is negligible. Bond is playing well enough in his role, though it's really, really difficult to not hold his fumble on interception return against him to where he should play out his contract with the Saints. The Saints are likely leaving some meat on the bone by not letting him rush to pass him often, but Allen isn't going to suddenly shift gears with Bond's 4th season in defense. Let him test free agency and see if you can get a decent compensatory draft pick for him. I say the time is up. I mean, it happens. It happens all the time. Like with the Pelicans. The Pelicans had several first-round draft picks 3 picks in 1 year. They had Jackson Hayes. They had Zion, Jackson Hayes, and Nikhil Alexander Walker, NAW, in the same year. 2 of the 3 are gone. Jackson Hayes is in with the Lakers, and NAW was with, I don't know where he is. He moved around to several different teams since he's been here. I think he's with the Jazz, if I'm not mistaken. But this is the thing. You either hit on these guys or you're not. And we've been fair with Zach Bond, the 3rd round draft pick. He didn't fit with what the Saints was going to do. And then even though he has a good little speed component to him rushing the passer, they don't let him do it because he could be a hazard there in terms of them rushing or putting them on the edge to rush the passer. Because if they they see him they see him standing up over there, and then they'll adjust. He'll audible out of the pass to the run to his side because he can't set the edge. If they run at him, he's gonna get pummeled out there. That's why the Saints don't use him in that capacity. So, I mean, in the end, Zach Bond, I think the writing's on the wall is Zach Bond. You might have something on that one. Jameis Winston, why the Saints should trade him. Injuries are hitting the quarterback room around the league hard. The Browns, the Giants, the Raiders, the Bears, the Colts all either have backups. In week 7, I had to play them due to sudden injury, and Winston would be an upgrade at least. And you won't get much and I'm not going to go into the rest of it because Jameis Winston, even though it's a lot of stuff circulating around Jameis Winston being traded and all that, it started up when Aaron Rodgers got hurt. And since then, it's just been kind of going on, and it'll probably beef up a little bit right before the NFL trade deadline. But to be really honest with you, man, there's no way you get rid of Jameis. Your starting quarterback right now is hurt and shouldn't be playing. To be honest with you, Derek Carr is banged up right now and should not be playing. He should not be playing. The dude got him. His shoulder is obviously affecting his accuracy. And then he has some type of weird ribs issue where the guy patted him on the ribs and he was in intense pain. Whether he has severe bruised ribs or not, they been knowing he was hurt. And really, they were forced to give you that information when you seen him out there. You seen that when you seen the guy just tapped him on his ribs and he built. They were like, hold on, what? They were forced to tell you that if that play never would have happened, they would have never reported to you that he had some type of issue with his chest or whatever they called it on the injury report. They would have not divulged that information. And I knew it was something that was going on with the whole play, man. And hold on here. Let me look at something right quick. Hold on here. Give me just a second. Because something told me check out something right quick. Hold on, fam. Give me just a second. I got to check something out right quick just to make certain. Hold on. I just need to check something out right quick because this is the type of stuff that we realize that when you're dealing with the Saints, man, they play these type of little goofy games where they don't report all of the injuries of the players. And then when the guy got his ribs touched, he bent over, then they was forced to put him on there. But as we just showed you the injury report, where's Dennis? Where's Carr at on here? We know he's still hurt. Well, CQ, we couldn't put him on there because we ran out of boxes. So we decided not to put him on there. Where's Derek Carr on this list? You see Hurst, Juwan Johnson, JT Gray, Landon Young, Ryan Ramczyk, Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus May, Taysom Hill's on the list. Alante Taylor, Max Garcia, Jimmy Graham, Andrus Peat. Where's Derek Carr at? And you know he's hurt. Where's Carr at on the injury list? See what I'm saying? Goofy games. We know Carr is still hurt right now. He's hurt. They took him up off there. You think he got healed from that slamming down on the ground that he did? And remember, they had to take him to the hospital and x-ray his chest to make sure he didn't have any vital organs or whatever, bruising or bleeding or whatever the case they were looking for when they took him to the hospital after that happened. But miraculously, he's off the injury list, family. His arm and his shoulder is no longer an issue. And the bruising we seen when the guy slapped him on his ribs several games ago, and in the recent game where he threw across his body and bent over in intense pain, that has miraculously went away. He's fully healed. There's a new report that's coming out here now that the X-Men sent Wolverine down to the Saints facility, and guess what? He took some of his blood. his mutant healing factor, as it's called, and injected it along with cortisone, the industrial strength, into Carr's ACL, his shoulder, and in his rib area, and he has been totally healed. Now, of course, this won't help anybody else. It'll just help Derek Carr. Okay, that's breaking news. That's fresh in there, just to let you know. Of course, that's not. Of course, that's a little comedy there, but the reality is, you might as well treat it like that. This dude ain't nowhere on this list, and you know he hurt. So, anyway, man, let's keep it bucking and moving, man. I hope to bring. I'm not trying to bring you Saturdays down, but let's play some Dennis Allen. This is the. Let's play some Mr. Possum. I mean Dennis Allen. Let's hear what he had to say about today, about what heading this matchup into the Colts. Don't worry, we won't play it too much from Dennis Allen. But listen, I'm just asking. Let me pose this question to the mighty Who Dat Nation, the great Saint Think Tank. Why isn't Derek Carr on that injury list? And we know he's banged up. Is it a PR man say, Q, we only have so many boxes? You can put something on that, boy. That's a computer screen, man. It'll scroll as far as you need it to. Yeah, he's not on that injury list. I wonder why the hell he's not, because we know he's hurt. But anyway, man, here go Dennis Allen. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear him making noise.
Nice outfit. I like that.
Look, you're the first person that said it.
Yeah,
everybody else thinks
nice.
it's that outfit. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
I noticed it. I just didn't say it. Would this be the stiffest test for your run defense so far this season?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they run the ball exceptionally well. Look, the last couple of weeks against a couple of pretty good run defenses, they've been able to run the ball effectively. I think they stick with it, like I talked about earlier in the week. I think they're really good up front. I think they block it well. I think the runners are, patient and yet explosive. I think they're violent runners. So yeah, it's going to be the stiffest test we faced.
Is Quentin Nelson back to playing as good as he ever has?
Well, look, I don't have a lot of experience with the player, and yet when I see him on tape, I'm impressed with what I see. So I don't know where he was at before, but he looks pretty good to me.
Of course, you played against Gardner Minshew before, but how is this offense going to be a bit of a different challenge compared to what you've been used with Billy?
Yeah, I think it's a similar scheme. There's some different ball players, but I think it's pretty much a similar scheme. So I think it's going to be a tough challenge for us. So I think they're operating at a high level. Offensively, they're one of the better offenses in our league. I think they're top 10 offense. They're doing a good job of scoring points. They run the ball effectively. They pass it efficiently. So it'll be tough.
Is there anything you can take from the matchup last year with Gardner towards playing against him this year?
Yeah, I don't think a ton. Each and every game is one in and of itself. So I don't really take too much of it. I mean, obviously we go back and we look at that game, but I think that's more about how they tried to attack us more than particularly against Gardner Minshew.
Dennis, how do you feel like the team has kind of responded throughout the week?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think we've had a good week of practice, and I don't think that's been a challenge. We just got to go out and perform on Sunday.
Dennis, I've heard a couple of people say they think you're close offensively. They can see the plays there to be made. They just got to make them. You kind of have a similar sense of where the team's at.
Yeah, I think there's some of that, and I think it's time to do it.
Dennis, how do you feel about your pass rush right now? I know there's been some guys getting rid of the ball quickly, but do you feel like it could be better?
Could it be better? Yeah, I think there's some things that we could do better. And yet, pass rush and pass coverage, have to work together. So, the ultimate deal is, be able to limit the effectiveness of the passing game, right? So you can do it in different ways: coverage, rush, whatever the case may be. So I'm not I don't have any concerns about our pass rush. I think we certainly want to be better there, but yet I think we've played pretty good pass defense. So there's some times where guys are trying to get the ball out quick, and when they do, um, we have to have tight coverage. It's probably more of a factor of when the quarterback holds the ball. That's when we've got to be able to get there and affect the quarterback that way.
And what is your view on the way Paulson Adebo's playing? It seems like receivers aren't having a lot of success, but that penalty keeps coming.
Yeah, and look, I mean, that's something that we continue to work on, each and every week. But I do feel like he's playing at a high level. Um, there's some things fundamentally that I think we can improve on and get better at. But overall, I think he's playing well.
The scoring's kind of down around the league wide. I mean, is there anything you're seeing, maybe trend wise, that
No, I don't really have an answer for that. I mean, it's interesting to see because, I think it was last week. I think there was, less than half the teams in our league scored more than 20 points last week. So that's a little unique. I think that's a little different, and I don't really know what the cause would be for that.
are teams playing defensively? I'm not talking about just this year, but in general, like the last year or so, last 2-3 years, are you seeing more 2 deep kind of force? Is that a trend at all or not? Is that...
Yeah, I don't think that's like this league-wide trend. I mean, I
Right.
think there's certain teams that, have bought into that philosophy a little bit more, and there's certain teams that are still a lot more down safety. I think that's just kind of, whatever the flavor for the coordinator is and what they like to do. So, yeah, I don't see that as this big trend.
Yeah, did you put even more emphasis on turnovers this week when you play a team like that has a tendency?
I think we put an emphasis on the turnover takeaway margin every single week. So I don't think it's any different this week. I do think that's a bigger factor on the road than at home. I think the turnover takeaway ratio is a huge factor when you're playing on the road.
We didn't see Marcus May out in practice. What is he going on with him?
He's got an illness,
That's what's
so
keeping him out.
something we've had a few guys have a little bit of an illness. So, but we'll see. I imagine he'll be feeling better tomorrow.
I don't know if you can ask about it much, but what about the Colts defense and how they can challenge your offense?
Well, I think it starts up front, much like we talked about with their offense, but I think it starts up front. They do a really good job of getting after the passer. They're active, in terms of how they play defense. They've done a pretty good job of, taking the ball away. Got some tough, pressure packages that they run, particularly when you get to third down. So I think it's a tough, aggressive. Gus has always done a really good job with the defense. So I think, again, like I said, it's going to start up front. We got to do a good job of blocking them.
I'm gonna be honest with you on this one, family. I was doing some research, some video work, looking at the Colts defense and their offensive lines. They're very solid. I mean, you got DeForest Buckner, the former Niner there. He does a really good job. And the defensive line, period. They're not talking a lot about the Cardinals, but they're very solid. They're not spectacular, but both lines are very solid units. And that's how it happened when Jordan, what Taylor was able to do what he did, running the ball, and now Moss is doing it. And that's not a coinky dink. Those guys know how to run block up there. They do a pretty decent job of protecting the quarterback too, and they get after you pretty good with that defense. So the lines for the Colts, both offense and defensive lines, are pretty solid units. Solid, not spectacular, but very solid. So the Saints will have to turn up the pressure. They're going to have to beat them from a defensive perspective, defensive line, our defense to their offensive line, and vice versa. With the Saints offensive line, we'll have to keep guys like DeForest Buckner and the rest of those guys from causing problems with Derek Carr, who's not on the injury list. He must be 100% healed which is ridiculous. Derek Carr should be on the IR. He should really, I mean, not on the IR. He should be on the injury list. And we'll see how he is. They have an extended period of time from the last game, but still in all, I think he's still banged up to a degree where it's impacting his ability to perform on the field. His passes are up and down. You know, he has an issues firing the ball at center mass for putting it right on the guys. He's very creaky and uncomfortable behind the offensive line. He rushes through progressions, and when you do that, you don't see anything. When you just doing it just to do it, and then you check it down a million times, when their wide receivers running free and you don't even see him because he's not even taking his time and smoothly, patiently going through his progressions. Guys are out there open. Not every time they got to look where you got to check it down 14, 15, 16, 17 times to AK-41. Somebody's open out there. So, I mean, like I'm going to maintain this. We got a lot of stuff going wrong with this offense, but it starts on the field. It starts with this quarterback. He has to do a better job of quarterbacking this thing. He really does. The dude is going to have to sit down, calm down, shut up, take more onus for himself, not going through progressions properly, because the film is showing everything. And guys are looking at it and breaking the film down because it's easy work. It don't take a rocket scientist or an astrophysicist to look at film. I seen what he was doing in a live game. In a live game, I was like, this guy is rushing through his progressions. It's very simple. So, I mean, they're going to have to do something, to make him feel comfortable. They got to leave guys in there. Whatever the case may be, he's going to have to go through his progressions, take his time, and then deliver the ball on time. And he can't stand back there holding the ball and taking sacks. He can't do that. He's going to have to, if he see a little greenery, he's going to have to take off and pick up about 5, 6, 7 yards and slide, Jackie. Then jump back up and go back to the huddle. All this finger pointing and fussing, talking about running when you telling him, I told you to run. Why you ain't run? Just keep running. Well, brother, what you want me to do? Run 10, 15 miles out of bounds? Because that's where you threw the goddamn ball at. What you want me to chase it? And then Mike runs up to him, say, hey, man, what you fussing at him for? I was running. I was down the field wide open. Taysom like, man, you ain't know I was cutting to the sideline, bro. I had one dude to beat. Why you ain't found? Well, never mind, y'all. I'm talking to him. Now, enough of this. This dude will not, I'm not going to let him get away with any of the things that he's doing right now, man. I'm not going to let him get away with the shit. The bottom line is we got to keep the focus on the field. And he has to do a better job, regardless of what plays these people call. This man got to do a better job of delivering the football. That's the bottom line. So anyway, man, let's keep it moving. Let's move on to another guy who barely has any answers, Pete Carmichael. Let's see what he had to say.
You guys got something going toward the end, doing tempo. What is it about that that kind of clears things up? Or
I think it brought a little energy to us, kind of got some things going. I think that and you go back to that game and you watch it, and we sustained some drives, but we couldn't finish them. And really, obviously, our third down clearly wasn't good enough. But I think that it was a point of a game where it was like, hey, we gotta get going. And I thought the players responded well, and I thought that as you look at it, it's not something you can live in, but there's times probably where we'll want to use that.
That is something that you can incorporate earlier in the game, even if it's just for.
Yeah, I think that. Again, obviously it went well for that game, and I think you have to look at who's your opponent, what are they doing. But I think that again, as we game plan, if there's some weeks where we feel like, hey, whatever, hey, let's go. What do you call it? Up tempo, or what do you want to call it? And then, just being smart with it, though.
Yeah.
Dia mentioned that there were some new things that you tried to implement over the course of this week, just from a confidence standpoint for you and the offense. What's the impact?
Well, I think there's just there was a lot of communication, a lot of discussion among individuals, and just kind of trying to make sure that we're clear with each other. Everybody's on the same page. I think that I think it's been a great week. A lot of energy. Guys are preparing. I think that just more so just a lot of discussion and saying, hey, what are some of the things that we got to do to keep some of these things from happening.
You've alluded before to the idea of, potential simplifying things like that. Is that something that y'all have undergone?
Yeah, I think that, I think that that's always part of it. You look at, hey, start out with the coaches. What are we doing? Are we doing too much? And is that causing issues? And then, like, why wasn't a play executed, or why was there possibly miscommunication and things like that? But I think that the discussion has been real healthy this week.
Is that also kind of a byproduct of going up tempo? You simplify things. I think Derek referred to it as training camp plays as opposed to.
I think basically when you're getting into those types of situations, a lot of time it's your core things that you're picking from a menu, maybe potentially based on what the defense is, but there's a set menu throughout training camp.
You talk about from the coach's standpoint of that you said doing too much or something on those lines. Is there like a simple example of that? Like what does that mean?
Well, I think that you can look at your let's just take the third down. Do we have too many plays in, and then guys are having to think so much like, hey, what am I doing on this play? What's my split? So simplifying, whether it's number of calls, maybe there could be a lot of things like, hey, yeah, is it the splits that are varying? Is it maybe a ton of motion, shit, all that stuff? I think a lot of that stuff can be simplified.
When you say number of calls, is that number of calls going into the huddle, or is that just kind of like the overall menu?
I'm talking about maybe like an overall list when you're looking at a particular section of, let's just say, hey, you're looking at your drop back list, or you're looking at your play action list. Well, do we need this many on the list? Let's narrow it down to this many and make sure it's the ones that our guys like and love for that game.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, and a lot of people have been saying the same thing. Maybe the offense is complicated. I mean, only one real big difference to the Saints offense that could be possibly struggling with this, and this is the quarterback. Nobody else had a problem with the Saints offense. They all had success with it last year, the wide receivers and skill set players. The only person that you need simplification for is Derek Carr. He's having a problem. See, and that's the thing. If you look at the Saints offense, the biggest component that is from change from last year is the quarterback. He's struggling with the Saints version of the West Coast offense. So Pete's basically saying we got to simplify it for him in week 8. Got to break it down. Whatever it takes to get these guys on the same line, man. If you got to, boil it down, run it down, however you want to do it, water it down so Derek Carr can get it, fine. That's the whole thing. And listen, I've said it before, I don't think he knows the offense well enough to be depended upon. And this is true. He knows versions of it. That's why he was he was really, if you think about it, he was struggling. He was saying, yeah, I got this, that, and the third. And I think I'm figuring it out, yada, yada, yada. And is it more so nerves, the fact that he's rushing because he's feeling the pressure? That's what it is. He's feeling the pressure of signing 100, and we warned him. When you sign $150 million over 4 years with the New Orleans Saints, you don't think for a second we might be what they consider a small market team. But we know we're not in any sense of imagination a small-minded team in terms of the media. The pressure you feel here is almost like a big city pressure. You get what I'm getting at? It's like if you might as well sign the deal with the Jets or the Giants or the Rams or one of these big supermarkets teams, the pressure is still the same here. We will get to you $150 million. So I think a lot of stuff that's dealing with Carr's issues is from I think it's injury related. Like his arm, I don't think it's as healed as they saying it is. I think I'm gonna say it again. I think it's his rib area or whatever they put on it, whether it's a chest issue or whatever the case may be. He's not even on the injury list. Pardon me, not on the injury list at all. The final week 8 injury list at all. But we know he's still hurt. So we'll see what they do because we'll see how they get it all figured out. But the big key to this is he has to orchestrate the offense better than what he's doing. He has to do better. You can't get mad at guys for whatever they're doing and they're running open down the field and you checking it down every other play. You got to get up off your and you have to look down the field and do the thing that you need to do. And like we've said over and over again, you can't rely on this guy to beat anybody or to win for you because he don't know the system. And think about it too. Gruden came here twice. And I'm telling you, it's by the request of Derek Carr. Dennis Allen ain't gonna call him and say, "Yo, Chuck, come over here and help me out." Now that was a Derek Carr move. He asked him to come over here. The Saints said fine, twice. So both times he came, he's still struggling. So I mean, he can and hopefully he can finally get through this stuff. Just make the passes, man. Shut up and make the passes, bro. You cannot get away from this pressure. If somebody asked me, do they think the Saints gonna win? I do think the Saints could win this game. They should win this game, to be honest with you. No disrespect to our Indianapolis Colts people. I don't think their team is, they're a young team, and nobody expected the Colts to be a team that would be competing for playoffs right now. You got a rookie quarterback who's currently hurt. You're operating with a backup. So you got all these different people. So you're going to have to operate and move a certain kind of way. And we knew that they would not be a team competing for a playoff right now. They're just trying to build on going up on a positive level, which means you should beat them. You should beat a team like the Colts. You should beat a team like the Texans. You should beat a team like the Packers, but you didn't. You know, so it's ridiculous. But they need to win this game. They need to win the next 3 games before the bye week. That's what I'm talking about. They definitely need to win this game, because you think them losing the last 2, they're currently on a 2-game losing streak, and they're losing the teams they're supposed to beat, and they're beating themselves. They're beating themselves, and that's what you see on the field. And it's ugly football, it's garbage football, it's dumb football. So hopefully we can turn this stuff around, because we got all the people we need here. We just need them to do their job. Rely on the player, rely on the stars. Carmichael ain't saying nothing bad on this one. He telling the truth. The game plan's like, we ain't gonna make no changes. But boy, I tell you, if this don't work here, it's gonna be some stank in the city of New Orleans. Let me tell you.
Hey, what do you want to get Derek Carr into that takes advantage of the best that he's done and the best of his skills? Like, what do you need to find with him?
I think that well, obviously the Temple stuff was some things that he did well, but I think that those opportunities for him at the line of scrimmage to maybe see the coverage, recognize the coverage, and be able to get us in a play that's that we feel good about based on maybe the defense you're seeing.
And when we've seen communication issues, or not, I don't know if communication is even the right word, but the quarterback and the receiver being on different pages, is a lot of that from calls being made at the line of scrimmage, or that's not?
I think there could be a variety of things, and again, I think it again, it starts with us as coaches making sure that those things aren't happening. If there's going to be some things that come up in the game, making sure that's all going into the game. Those are things that we've practiced and repped, and maybe not just all of a sudden appearing on game day.
So the two aren't sort of mutually exclusive. He can get us into this or this at the line of scrimmage, and it's not necessarily the same as like changing what they're all being asked to do on the play.
Correct. Yeah, correct. So I think that some part of the discussions this weekend again is starting with what are we doing, and then making sure that we're all on the same page, communication, and some of it's execution assignment as well. So I think that all goes into it.
And this is probably oversimplifying, but Taysom caught a lot of balls in the middle of the field, but just in general, Michael Thomas slants, Jimmy Graham, period. Like, is it sort of defenses that are taking away the middle of the field, or is that something that you guys wish you?
Well, I think when we go into the game, obviously we look at those opportunities and those things, and obviously when you talk about someone like Jimmy, obviously he's been a part of the game plans, and then just not maybe some of those plays aren't getting called, and that's that can come back to me and making sure that those opportunities are given to him. So I think that, and there's a lot of guys that we want to get the ball to. We like it in their hands. But again, I think as you go into a game plan, if there's something for Mike Thomas or Jimmy that you like, it's all in the game plan. It's just a matter of sometimes getting it called.
Yeah, and the number one guy to get it called, you're looking at him. In Triplett, and like I said, I have to get a award made up for Mike Triplett, because Mike Triplett asks the best questions, and he asks the most questions. He asks more questions than any other reporter, and he asks the best questions. And he does it in a way where Mike Triplett knows what time it is, and he's telling Pete Carmichael in his questions, like, are the defenses taking away the middle of the field? He's talking about slant plays that you rarely see. When the last time you see Mike slants You see maybe one or one completion a game. If you even that, probably every other game. The slant plays that they're really good at, they're not calling them. In areas of the field they could be attacking, they're not attacking. Jimmy Graham, asking about Jimmy Graham and Jimmy Graham in the capacity in the red zone. Even if you don't see Jimmy Graham anywhere else, you should see him in the red zone. When we get to the red, you should be seeing Jimmy Graham out there. None of that, and most of the time. And the thing is, he talks about it's an interesting thing because we've had this discussion before where Pete Carmichael is really good at getting the prepared plays together. That's his big skill. Like he'll prepare these plays and you'll have these scripted, they call it scripted plays, prepared plays where they're mocked prior to the game to run. But if this is not working, you're going to have to adjust from that. And that's where he struggles. See, he can get in there and do all this prepared stuff. But like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. Then when that happens, what do you do then? What happens then? So that's the whole point we're talking about when we're dealing with this whole scenario about Pete Carmichael, so on and so forth, about the play calling and forgetting to make calls. He gets lost in the sauce a lot, man. He really does. All right, so anyway, listen, fam, let's do it. That's gonna I'm gonna bring the show to an abrupt end like that because pretty much that's what it is for right now. I'll be back tomorrow on the stream, man. And feel free, family, to check out the No Excuses, the No Excuses new gear that's out. It's in black and white. It's linked in the description section below. It's a limited collection, fam, so it won't be here. More than likely, we'll let it run for a little while and then we'll take it off of there. So right now, you can get your gear right now and show them No Excuses, taking 10% off. And remember, all the merch sales help the platform moving forward. And it's just one of them things, man, where you just have to understand, man, that, man, we ain't taking no excuses this year, man. I'm tired of this, man. We ain't taking no excuses. This can apply for the Pelicans. Matter of fact, we got it coming out in Pelican Red and Blue, too, coming up soon. We got a different Pelican designs for No Excuses. Let me tell you, it applies. Shout out to Yo Omar, says DC will be fine. Also, did you see the simulator? If you guys will. Yeah, I was supposed to run it last week. I got kind of caught up, but I promise you, sometime probably tonight time, it'll be around maybe 8 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock. We'll run the simulation for the Saints and Colts. We usually do it every Tuesday, but my schedule was so busy this week I didn't get an opportunity to set the simulation for the Saints and Colts matchup. But we'll do it tonight, probably about 8 o'clock Central Time. So y'all just be looking out for that as well. So thank you, bro. He says Colts also, the O-line is bad. Hopefully you guys can get a run. He says, let me read it again. DC will be fine. Also, did you see the simulator? If you guys would win against the Colts, also the O-line is bad. Hopefully you guys go on a run. Thank you, Omar. Appreciate you for the super chat, my friend.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up and bringing me back to this world.
All right, shout out to the fan. Appreciate you. Marlo says, now I question, does he even study, or is he purely a family guy outside of Sunday practice? The reality, the way I look at it, and I see a lot of stuff with Dennis Allen or Pete Carmichael. They talk in simplification, like maybe the stuff is too complex. The only person you could be referencing that is Carr, because the rest of these guys know the Saints offense pretty good. They operate pretty well in it. We're talking all about skill set guys. They know this offense. So the only person you could be dumbing it down for is Carr. But that's just a small fragment of it. Like that's a portion, a fractal of the whole situation. Is still the fact that Carr is not comfortable behind the offensive line. He's not delivering the ball accurately. It's either low or high. He's nervous back there. He's rushing through his progressions. He's not a poised guy at all, and that's affecting him too. We don't need a non-poised quarterback back there. That's not cool, standing in there and delivering and doing what he's got to do. If he's nervous that he's going to get hit on or sacked where he'll get hurt, we need to take him out of the game. And that's another part of this as well, is that I really do still think that this guy is banged up. I really do. So in the end, man, we'll see. Hopefully the Saints get the dub and we get this and we move on to something else, man. And because the Saints definitely need to get this win against the Colts. They have the Colts game, the Bears game, and the Vikings games. All of these needs to be wins. Some of these teams are not looking as good, and the Saints ain't looking good either, but one guy in particular needs to get his stuff together, to me, and that's Carr. He's on the field. You need to get his shit straight. All right, so anyway, with that being said, fam, we're going to push on that. I appreciate y'all chiming in on the show. I'm going to holler at y'all on the flip side on the play-by-play. Y'all join us tomorrow for the play-by-play show, and show up. We'll have a ball. Much love to the fam. Who that? No.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
All right.
Store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. The Who